I want to tell you what an ordinary day looks like in my house. Not a hard day, not a good one, just an ordinary one. The kind that doesn't make it into any story, but is actually most of what life is made of. I'm up before anyone else. The dogs know, before I've done anything visible, that the morning is starting. Rosco is already alert, already oriented toward the door. Ray is doing what Ray does in the morning, which is position himself as close to me as physically possible and make it subtly difficult to move without acknowledging him first. Both of them are waiting, not anxiously, just ready. This is Under the Same Roof. I'm Jennyfer Tan, professional dog trainer and certified family dog mediator, and this is episode 10. Last episode, we were in the beginning, in the first weeks with a new dog, the wrong questions, the things nobody's article prepares you for. This episode, I want to stay in the ordinary, in the structure that holds everything else up, in the thing that looks like a schedule from the outside, but is actually something more important than that. This episode is about routines, not as something you implement, as something a family builds together, usually without realizing they're building it, and what it costs everyone when it breaks. We walk before I do anything else, before coffee, before my phone, before the day has any content in it yet. We go at a pace that is theirs, not mine. Rosco needs to read the street before he can settle into the walk. Ray needs to move, to discharge some of whatever accumulated overnight. The walk is not exercise, in the way people mean when they say exercise. It's more like calibration. We come back different than we left. Then I feed them. I'll have my coffee, breakfast. Then, before I open my laptop, we spend a few minutes on training. Not drilling. Not working toward a performance. Just a few minutes of engagement. Rosco focused and genuinely interested, because Rosco finds problem-solving intrinsically satisfying. He is the kind of dog who wants to figure things out, and Ray doing his version, which is making it very clear that he will participate enthusiastically as long as the treats are good enough, and that he has opinions about what counts as a good treat, and that vegetables do not count. Then I work, and in between there are smaller moments. Enrichment, a bit of attention, a hand on a warm back, then the evening walk, then the meal, and then everyone comes home. That last part matters. The household shifts when my husband and my kids walk through the door. It gets louder, more alive. Both dogs respond to it. Rosco recalibrates, reading the room before he commits to how he's going to be in it. And Ray's whole body changes. He is a people dog in the most fundamental sense. The more humans, the better. He has been waiting for this moment, not anxiously, but with the particular patience of an animal who has learned that the good thing comes if you wait for it. And we settle into dinner, into the evening, into whatever the night holds. Sometimes a movie. Both dogs will arrange themselves somewhere near us, not because they were told to, but because that's where the warmth is. Rosco in his usual spot near the couch. Ray near me. He greets everyone at the door, says his hellos, and then comes straight back. He has chosen his person. That person is me. Everyone else is someone he loves, but I am where he returns. We talk about routines in dog training as though they're a strategy you implement. Same time, same sequence, same everything. And yes, consistency matters. But I think that framing misses the more important thing. Routines aren't primarily about schedule. They're about predictability. And predictability, for a nervous system that is already working hard to process the world, is one of the most powerful forms of support you can offer. Rosco's nervous system is always on alert. He is always on some level scanning. A predictable day doesn't fix that, but it gives him a framework inside which the scanning can ease. He knows what comes after the walk. He knows what the training minutes feel like. He knows the evening will bring the people back. That knowledge sits in his body, not as thought, but as felt safety. Ray is different. He came to us a year after Rosco, a former street dog, then a shelter dog in Korea, then a foster who became ours when the original adoption fell through. He had been with us only a couple of days before that happened, and yet there was already a connection, the quiet, unchosen kind that sometimes forms before you've had a chance to decide whether you're ready for it. Ray is a Velcro dog, not a people dog in the general sense, a me dog specifically. He greets everyone at the door, does his rounds, and then he comes straight back to where I am. His routine is less about time and more about one thing, knowing where I am. The reassurance isn't that someone is here, it's that I am here. When my family comes home in the evening, Ray's whole body changes, not because the house is fuller, but because his anchor has been confirmed. Everyone is accounted for. I am still here. The count is right. 2 dogs, 2 nervous systems, 2 genuinely different relationships with routine. What works for one would not be sufficient for the other. Routine doesn't mean one thing applied uniformly. It means understanding what each being in your household needs to feel like the day is safe and building the structure around that. I want to say something honest here, because I think it goes unsaid in most conversations about how households like mine actually function. I work from home. My husband works outside the house. My son and daughter are out most of the day, which means that for the majority of the day, the routine I'm describing is mine to hold. The morning walk, the feeding, the training minutes, the enrichment in between calls, the afternoon walk, all of it most days is me. That's not a complaint. It's the shape of our life. But I think it's worth naming because there is a version of this conversation that implies routine is a household project, a shared endeavor, and for a lot of families with a neurodivergent child and a reactive dog, that's not the reality. One person, usually, is doing most of the holding. And that person's capacity is not infinite. On the days when my own nervous system is depleted, when I'm sick, when work is hard, when something difficult is happening that has nothing to do with the dogs, the routine is harder to maintain, and both dogs feel that, not as punishment, as a shift in the quality of the day. Things are slightly less predictable. The container is slightly less solid. They manage, but it costs them something. My husband holds things in his own way. He doesn't walk them or train them or manage the structure of their days, but he is present in the evenings in a way that matters. To Ray especially, who wants everyone accounted for, who takes a quiet inventory of the household and settles when the count is right. His consistency in showing up is, in its own way, an anchor. Not the kind that appears in any guide to dog care, but real. The routine works because multiple people are contributing to it in different ways, even when it looks like one person is doing everything. I've had to learn to see that. For a long time, I was only tracking what I was carrying, and not what the rest of the household was quietly providing. School holidays. A difficult stretch with my son. A week when work overwhelms everything else, and the training minutes disappear, and the walks get shorter. These things happen. The routine bends. What I've learned is that the response to a broken routine is not guilt and not acceleration, not trying to make up for lost time by cramming everything back in at once. The response is the same thing I've learned about a dog's bad day or a child's regression. Reduce the ask. Go back to the simplest, most reliable thing. Rebuild from the part that held. For Rosco, after a disrupted stretch, that means going back to the morning walk and not asking anything else of him for a day or two. The walk is the anchor that holds when nothing else does. It recalibrates both of us. For Ray, it means presence, just being in the same room, just existing in a way that says, the household is still here, you are still in it, the people still come home. For my son, after a hard stretch, the return to routine looks different again, quieter, slower, less demanded. He's always been someone who needs the re-entry to be gentle. You can't return to full expectation the moment the disruption ends. You have to ease back in. All of them, actually, need the same thing when things have been hard. Not a return to normal, exactly. A return to something solid. Something they recognize. Something that says, we're still doing this, in the way we do this, and you're still safe inside it. That's what a routine is, in the end. Not a schedule, a promise. One that gets kept, imperfectly, day after ordinary day. Next episode, I want to talk about something that sits right at the intersection of my trainer brain and my parent brain. How do you teach a child who processes the world differently to read what a dog is actually communicating? Not a standard dog safety lesson. The specific, concrete, sometimes surprising work of making the invisible visible for a child whose social reading doesn't come automatically. And why one of my best teaching tools for this turned out not to be Rosco, but Ray. I'm Jennyfer Tan. This is Under the Same Roof. Understanding before strategies, always.